welcome to the Activity Call Live. And now, our host, Andy Albright.
Live, baby.
We're live. Be careful what you say from here on out. So I can see Stephen and I can see Jason. These are two of the best converting a new person. I want to get licensed. I want to get rich. I want to have some money. I want freedom. They're two of the best at converting people to getting through class and getting them making money and getting them build a network that I know of in the country. There are other really good ones. Okay, Alex Abian's really good. Mike Leventovich is good. Noel, really good. I feel like I'm the best, but I hope Spencer feels like he's the best. I want everybody to feel like you're the best. But if you feel like you don't need any more training, that's a problem. Okay, I got a couple guys out there making $250,000, $300,000, and one was texting me about something because he's a nice guy, he's a friend of mine, but it's crystal clear. Listen to me. It's crystal clear he's not paying attention to the Zoom calls on Wednesdays. He's not watching the product calls on Thursdays. He didn't know about the seminars we're doing. Nothing. He's just oblivious. You know why? Because he's too cool for school after he started making $200,000. The chances of him ever getting to $200,000 a month are nil. And if he gets sick or hurt, he don't have the money because he didn't buy life insurance, which wouldn't shock me. Agents that don't have life insurance, don't have health insurance. It's crazy stuff. Then he's going to want us to help him because he's a great friend. And we're going to be like, dude, if you'd listen to the God blessed calls, if you'd plug in, your life would be totally different. He's too cool for school. Maybe he's watching now. I doubt it. Maybe his upline's screaming at him. Okay, so you're not too cool for school because y'all are on here. Davies is always plugged in and listened. Jason, not only does he listen to what I say, he Googles what I say and searches it on the internet. I was talking about you yesterday, Jason. He was like, yeah, that guy's called me asking a bunch of questions too. I said, oh, he'll Google you, and if there's anything in your history, like if you got a record or well, when y'all, he'll look it up and he'll call and tell me about it. And sure enough, Jason started texting me something else. I like that about you, Jason. You're intrigued. He gets deep in there. He ain't a frivolous guy, Jason, where'd you get that from? What is that? Your mama, daddy, or your uncle, or you just a curious kid? You're kind of like a kitty cat.
I was a doubting Thomas, Andy. I was like the story in the Bible. Jesus told his buddies, he's like, they're going to put me down, but 3 days later, I'm coming back. And the doubting, and then 3 days later, sure enough, his buddies came back from the market and he's like, hey, Thomas, we saw Jesus. He's heading up this way. And Thomas was like, I ain't going to do it. Believe it till I do this, that, and the other. And sure enough, Jesus tapped him on the shoulder and there he was. Kind of like when I heard about you. I told Riddle when I was down there in Jacksonville, I said, listen, anybody can build a website. I ain't never heard of this Albright character. I'm going to go up there and I said, they do them corporate tours up there? And he said, yeah. And I said, all right, I'm going to go up there and check him out. Make sure he's not running this thing out of a P.O. box. And so I went up there to check you out. And I was totally impressed, man, with what you had put together out of Burlington. And just, I was like, wow, this kid, this guy's he done figured something out. The carriers thought highly of the alliance and the leads. I was like, after my wife sells me a dagnum policy, what's she going to do next week? And I was like, he's got that figured out. So I was like, all right, this will work for her. And I stayed at Merrill Lynch slinging mortgages at Mama Bama, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch. So that's what I did.
He's a funny guy. By the way, he's also got one of the best structures. They're wide. I mean, he's got Terry Edwards and that massive organization. And then what would you consider your second organization?
The Harrys, and then after that would be Marnie and Sabrina.
So that leg, then he got Janina and Harry, Princess I call him, and Marnie, And then you got who? You got a good.
We got Erica Gold and Olivia. That team's
so
coming on in Ohani. Yeah,
they were just up here for 2 days, right?
Yeah, they loved it.
Them. I like them. I would not count on them to do any algebra or mathematic equations.
And the great thing about us, that's what I tell people when I recruit them. Hey, you don't got to know calculus.
It'd be good if you did, though. I'm just telling you, if you've had a guy that's had a calculus class, it'll help. We were having dinner, and I was just giving her down in the country, as one referee calls it. I was trying to explain, how valuable a new recruit is and the percentages. And I was getting one of those, have you ever seen a cow walk up to a new gate like it's never been there before? You ought to see them. They'd be like, it's funny. It's funny. They're like, I ain't going through there. It ain't no fence there no more. But I mean, you can just, I bet you ain't nobody here ever seen Patrick has seen a cow looking at a new gate. They were looking at me like a cow looking at a new gate. Like two cute little young cows looking at a new gate. You know what I'm talking about, Davies? Mr. Can Chappelle do the comedy on that? Was not a good question. So there's two different kinds of people. There's kind of people like Stephen Davies, and there's kind of people like Jason that are successful. Davies, I don't think he researched nothing. He just drove 3 hours, grabbed some leads, and went to selling policies. And then there's Jason, who don't believe nothing, but he digs in, does his research, comes up here, asks a million questions, knows it's proof, and then does it. That's what you're looking for. Either one of those.
In my defense, it was the AOL.com days back then. It was nearly the 1900s.
What's your point?
I didn't research. That's the point. I just wanted to have a better reason other than I didn't.
Davies, I'm the guy that was mailing money to a P.O. box in Miami and getting back 5X and still ain't never looked into it. So I don't think you really have to defend. You know what I'm saying? Some people just do it. And then some people are skeptical. But there's other people that are skeptical and don't research it. They end up staying dumb. Mm-hmm. And there's other people that they go do it, but they only do it half-ass. You know what I mean? So you got this variety. And what we're talking about today is how to get, if you hire 100 people, how to get 70 of them selling, 50 of them selling, 20 of them selling, at least one of them selling, by God. We're trying to get success. So before this call, I was just on the phone with a new lady named Victoria. She's graduating North Park, that's the name of it, North Park University, and she's played basketball for 4 years. She's a great athlete. She's a great discipline. Follows instructions pretty good, right? Because you can't become a starter on a basketball team in college at any level unless you follow instructions to a certain extent. The question is, how do we get her from excited, licensed, selling, making money, and recruiting people? And I'll tell you the number one thing is if you care about people and if you got the right person. Okay? So if it's a Davies and you care, you're going to like it. But if you don't care, you might not even get Davies because you might not return a phone call. You might not invite him to your house. I invited got to the house, my first conversation, to come to my house. Who does that? Who does that? Hopefully Jason does that. That's how we got Martin, Olivia. Remember? Somebody was coming to his house and he was talking to him about it. But caring about people. But now if you care a person and they hate you, they don't like you, they're scared to death, and you don't care, then you don't keep pushing it, then they don't make it. So you caring and being the right person is probably that's the number two, the top scenario to make it work. Now, there are people that you just, like, for example, if y'all had called me, I'm in. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm just a sucker for, things that go like this right here. You know what I mean? I'll be like, I'm in. I'm not so much that I've been in insurance, and I got to be careful about stuff like that, but I want to do it. You know what I mean? Before I did, does that make sense? So, yeah, so like, I'm not kidding about Jason. Like, he is just all into it. Jason, I'm trying to, how I want to say this, like, comment on the right person and you caring. Relationships build organizations. Relationship build businesses. But I want to hear it from your words, how you would explain it to my audience.
Well, I mean, I think Olivia is a perfect example. I met Erica. She was trying to get into insurance, and, her person that got her in disappeared. And then she talked to Anna and G, and Anna said, hey, I know this girl Olga there, and her husband are on top of it, call them. And then I talked to Erica. She called Olga. Olga said, call Jason. I talked to Erica at 7 o'clock that night. She's over at the house talking to me. And then, like, the next day she comes over and meets Olga, and one of her friends that's over there, the car breaks down, and she's like, I got to call Olivia Martin, and she knows about cars and can probably fix this thing. So Olivia comes over, and I just start talking to Olivia. I'm like, what are you doing? What kind of work you doing? Do you want to get rich? Like, you want to make money? And she's like, heck yeah. Me and Olivia are tight because Olivia's a lion, and we could just talk to each other quick, hard, and fast. And she just, it seemed to me, Andy, that she just believed it. And she went in,
Yeah.
Here's another thing. Last night we were at Hotspot.
How about on top of that? Oh yeah, I want to hear what you got to say, and I'm gonna come back. I'll try to remember this. What is it?
So we're at the Hotspot last night, and Lou Abate and Joe Dukes had sent a couple of new agency owners up there, brand new people that are opening up their agency with us. And I was fired up because I love Lou Abate and Joe Dukes. Everybody knows Joe Dukes is the best looking bald-headed man in the Alliance. This goes without saying. And so I'm trying to help Lou and Joe build their agency. So I tell both these young kids, I'm like, hey, what are you guys doing tomorrow? And one of them is turning 29. And he's like, I'm turning 29 tomorrow, and it's my last. I won't be 30. I got 20. I'm in my 20s. I got 1 year left. I'm going on a party vacation. I'm like, all right, when you getting back? He's like, Monday. I'm like, let's get over to my house Monday. This other guy named Kevin, direct to Lou Abate, he's coming over today. I think he's going to be here any minute. He might even stick his head in on this show. So I invited both of them over. I just want to see, will they do what they say they're going to do? Will they show up and let me start helping them? Because every time I send someone to Lou or Joe Dukes, guess what they do, Andy? They help
nice to them, and they help.
They're nice to them to go out and have a dinner with them. They'll get a beer with them. They'll do a ride along with them. They'll talk to them. And so I want to be that for them down here.
So here's what I find to be the problem with people as far as failing. They help agents between 9 to 5, which is work. But when you have a beer with them, it's not between 9 to 5 typically. I don't drink beer. You're a moron. Have coffee. You're not a moron because you don't drink beer. You're a moron because you don't understand this is an example. It's not a rule. That's why you're a moron, because you went, I don't drink beer. Like, that's not a good reaction to have a beer with them. You could have a reaction like, I could have coffee with them after, one night. That would be a good reaction. Or I could take them to dinner. I'd be like, whoa, we're not marrying them. I mean, I'm serious. People go off the deep end. It's like people would rather cut out their right little toenail than make a phone call. They would rather go than make a phone. You know what I mean? Like, I'll have dinner with them. Like, bro, I said a beer, coffee. I didn't say dinner. I said does that make sense? Like, just try to get this. There's this balance. You need to be able to see murder, and you need to see pulling people out of the ditch that's homeless and taking them home to your house. But operate in this zone. I know people that only see this part or only see this part. Your ability to see both parts and operate right here. This is a pattern that I'm telling you about with people. We were talking about we're talking about simple algebra with you girls, and we was talking about patterns. We did and I got on to Spencer for never doing the games with his recruiter person. You know, I was like, have you done the green glass door? Have you done Chinese numbers? Have you done the power of green power or black power? You know, and he was like, I ain't got to it yet. You know, well, the faster you get to things, the faster things get done. And the more you care about people, the more you study everything about them. Like, if you have children, you know how that works. You want them to marry the right person. You want them to have a good career. You want them to be happy. You want them to do things that you like to do so y'all can do it together. So you try to do. I hope you do. Actually, I think some parents don't. They leave it up to chance. But like our grandbaby girl, we're taking her hunting for the first time when she's 3 months old. We've got her camo. We got her a play gun. You know, we got a seat on the helicopter, and we're gonna take pictures of her with a dead hog. We got her sitting right beside him, and then we're gonna grow her up, showing her all this stuff. So like when she's 1, you know, she'll be like, I like hogs. You know, and I like to shoot stuff. You know what I mean? People are like, well, I'm just gonna let my kids decide on their own. This little girl's gonna like hunting. Now look, she might not, and we're gonna love her, right? It's like I wanted an athlete when Haley was born, and then I wanted her to not kill herself when she walks. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't know what I'm talking about, but she's not an athlete. She's a painter. She turned out to be an artist, you know, and I like to paint and stuff. So I was like, maybe she's gonna be a famous artist. But you know what I mean? But she ain't against hunting. You know what I mean? You follow what I'm saying, Dave? It's just like, well, you kids, you got 2, right?
Yes.
Chan Man, and what's the itty bitty girl?
Tinsley.
Tinsley. I remember Tinsley because she's tiny, teeny Tinsley. So they're trying to get, but you can't make them, but you certainly have all the opportunity to. So with an agent, you have every opportunity to talk to them you want to. You could take them in your house and let them live with you. I know, people do that. Yeah. Have y'all had any of that happen? I'm thinking of a couple that I know. Jason's shaking his head going like, you know who I think would do that? I think Marnie would do that. Yeah, she's that nice of a person. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, no, I think she would. I've had an agent stay at my house for about 6 weeks one time.
I just remembered that.
Yep.
You sure that's all it was, 6 weeks?
Hey, yeah, it might have been a little bit more. Hey, Olga had a client live with us for about 6 weeks one time.
Who did?
Olga. Moved in, needed help. I'm like, oh God, but it worked out. They moved out. She helped them out. We helped them out, and that was it. We got them on their feet.
Have you got any depth out of that group? The one that stayed at your house. Have you got any depth out of that? Anything good come out of it?
Yeah, we do. We do have some depth in that.
So what I really like this person, Victoria. Okay, here's the other thing. If you like somebody and they don't know that you like them, it's not going to do any good. Right. But she's watching shows. She hears me say it. I call her all the time. I touch base with her. Until I was thinking about her. I was talking to Coach Jane Albright this morning. Not my wife, Jane Albright, but Coach Jane Albright, who's headed to the women's ACC tournament. And then I was telling Victoria, I was thinking about you when I was talking to Coach Albright. And then she was telling me about an appointment she went on. She went on her first appointment, and it was at a rest home. And the lady has 6 children, and only one of the children talks to her. Like they're not in good relation, and she's not real tight with that one. And the rest home, the way Victoria understands it is the rest home takes everything and only leaves the woman with $90 to her name. So she didn't know if she's going to be able to afford any life insurance. And so I was like, well, Victoria, did you get the names of all 6 children? And she was like, why would I do that? She wasn't like that, but she was like, what? Now, you understand, if you went in a drugstore or a gas station, where do you buy lottery tickets? You say, I'd like a lottery ticket for that $1 million lottery. And you give them $5 and they give you a lottery ticket. And you're standing there talking to the guy, and the guy says, you seem to be a nice person. Would you like to have 5 more lottery tickets for free? Would you sit there and go like, no? Or would you say, sure, and then you scratch them off? How about if it was a sign there that says, all you got to do is ask if you want 5 more lottery tickets? Would you read the sign and go, hey, sign says I can have 5 more. You get 5 more free? To me, that's the same thing of talking to a grandma, talking about the kids don't like her, won't call her back. One of them does. And you don't, sign, ask, to me. But I'm a seasoned, experienced, grinding, succeed at all cost agent that sees it like a sign blinking, but she don't see that. Yet. But she's heard me explain it to her before the call. Now she's heard me seen me do it on the video. But if I'm not, and then watch how big a deal I'm making out of this tiny thing. Oh my God, I just remembered another one of my mama's jokes last night. Oh, there's a little thing. You know which one I'm talking about. That's funny. Oh God, it felt like, that's what she felt. Oh my God, Davies, you need some of this material. Okay, it's a little thing that I'm talking to her, but I'm blowing it all out of proportion, because if I can get the little things right with her, she's going to win and make hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, like Jason has done and Davies has done. So Davies, when I talked to Davies and invited him, I was talking, matter of fact, I'm going to come to you, I'm going to set you up with this, Davies. I'm talking to this kid, we interviewed him. Patrick interviewed him, told him, listen, that y'all like this, Davies. He should be on this call. Yes. So I told him about my program where I pick somebody to work with. You do that, Davies? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to pick a person. So we've been interviewing, looking for me to hire the next person. Well, this kid, he's in Chicago too, right? No, New Jersey.
No. He's in Cleveland.
He's in Cleveland. But he's from Asheville. He's from 828 number. So Clay interviewed him, Patrick interviewed him, so he got through that 2-step process, Davies, to me, and I talked to him, and the first thing I started telling him about is Stephen Davies. I said, I've got a guy from Arden, and he's like, I know where Arden is, because he's living in Cleveland now, but he grew up in Arden. He went to school in Cleveland, and he Kent State University, graduated a business degree, and I was like, I like that, but I'm telling him the story about how you well, I'm not going to ask you to tell the story. I want you to talk about how we get people going. But Davies drove to my house, but I asked him to come. So guess what I did with this kid, Davies? I asked him to fly here. Guess what dates? 21 and 22.
I love it.
And this is his interview. Actually, we got 2 people we're talking to considering it, and we're bringing the other person in him so I can meet them both in person and decide which one I want to work with. I'll give you the one that comes in second, Davies. But talk about that, Davies, caring and inviting people to move quickly. And sometimes they'd move. Sometimes they'll drive in. Some people are like, I'm skeptical. Well, if you're skeptical, you talk about it, because you got good words.
Yeah, to me, it's knowing what you don't want to work with or what you can't work with. And ignorant, cynical, just can't work with. Arrogant, not listening, can't work with. There's got to be something in the middle. You can be skeptical and intelligent. That's how I think of Jason. He's skeptical, intelligent. But the people that you can't work with, you just move on. I see folks get frustrated getting new people started because they've got I mean, they got the dented can brigade and they're trying to make them into something. And it's like, that's not, you can't do that. You find the right people, knowing who you're not going to work with, knowing who you do want to work with. And that's exactly what you're doing there is you're figuring out, is this the kind of person I want to work with? Because what happens is kind of like appointments. If you feel like you only need 5 appointments to get the sales that you need to make the money you need to make, you'll book 5. And 2 of them will probably be really soft books, but you got your 5. So same thing with the way I always was with appointments is the way I am with recruiting now. I'm not going to take the soft appointments. I'm going to double book them. I'm not betting an hour of my time on a soft book. So same thing with people, because it's going to take emotional investment. It's going to take, I've flown back and forth to Salt Lake City a bunch over the last little bit because I see 2 people out there with the it factor that are, that are what we're looking to work with. And when you find those people, because you're not spending a bunch of time trying to talk people into doing something they don't want to do, or talk people into listening when they don't want to listen. You can't, I would say you can't sell a man answers you can't sell a man answers that only wants echoes, right? People that actually have questions and want the information. And then you go all in with those people. In other words, it is extremely fair, extremely not equal. And that's been one thing that we have in the base shop really gotten dialed in on. It's like, we don't want that person. We want this person. We want this person for these reasons. This is what we're looking for. And when we find that, then we're going to double down there. And then we're going to keep going until we find the next one that fits.
But I love that. You can't give answers to a man that only wants echoes. That's a good one. All right. So what do you say, both of you, what do you say if you got a person that's recruiting and they've recruited 100 people, nobody doing anything, and they think none of the people are good?
Well, I know one of the things that I've seen is they sell the opportunity that it's so easy and anybody can do it. And I'm going to bend over backwards and do everything for you. And that's impossible with a lot of people. So they get in on one dealing.
But the person's going to still blame them. The person's still going to blame the 100.
Right. But they say, you got to join my team. I'm going to do everything for you. This is the easiest thing you've ever done. You make more money than you can possibly ever imagine. And they do that. So people go, okay,
So you talk to them, Davies. Mm-hmm. And they say, all right, from now on, I'm going to tell people how hard it is and how much work you got to do. And they come back and they've talked to 100 people. And none of them are doing anything. So now that's not the problem because they know. Mm-hmm. They know they told them how hard it is now.
Well, strengths.
What do you say to them now?
Strengths in the middle, right? Those are both extremes. This is so hard. You're going to want to smash your head against the wall and give up. It's the easiest thing in the world. Strengths in the middle. Hey, this is going to be hard work, but you have no idea how worth it it's going to be. Let me tell you.
So they're not balanced. But if they tell you, I am perfectly balanced, and then they go through another 100, and they still can't find anybody who'll do anything. Yeah.
Hopefully they'll start scratching their head and maybe they'll figure out it's them.
If one person calls you a horse, it could be a lie. If 2 people call you a horse, it could be a conspiracy. If 3 people call you a horse, it's time to buy a saddle.
Me. Jason, same question. What would you say to that person?
Well, I find it so funny and interesting when I run into these people and they walk among us, and I try to get them on the calls, Andy. I try to get them around the association.
It's some of your downline. Let's pretend like all your downline are perfect. And now you're talking to Davies' downline who have tried to recruit, but nobody will work. Nobody will do what they say they'll do. Nobody will follow through. So let's talk to Davies' group. So
So if I'm talking to the Davies group, I'm like, hey, So everybody that, let me get this right, like everybody that you've talked to 50, 100 people, 200 people, and nobody will do anything. I'm like, wow. I said, what are you telling them? What kind of information are they? Are you doing their schedule? Are you, let's look at your schedule. I'll say, like, what are you doing? Like, leadership is visual, and you've got to give people an opportunity, an example to follow. So I'll delve into what their example is that they're giving to their team. Are they coming to the rally points? Are they getting on the TWC, the product call, the activity call? Like, what are you doing? Because it's something I'm trying to get them to see that it's something they're doing or not doing that is creating this non-work ethic, this no production, this no activity within their group. And I'm like, I try to just work on them and really delve into them and make sure they're doing the sell, recruit, and building. Because a lot of these people just want to build, or they just want to sell, or they don't want to associate with the meetings. I'll give them the 8 steps to read. Read this book. This was written by our billionaire CEO who started his company out of his basement. Now he's partnered up with Steve Young and Brian Adams, some pretty big heavy hitters. Maybe you should understand somebody's resume outside of yourself. Can we get them to understand Andy Riddle's resume, or Stephen Davies' resume, or Albright's resume, or Olga's resume starting as a luggage handler? And can they comprehend that and start saying, okay, I got to quit listening to myself. I got to really start to duplicate what they're doing and be like a little parrot. That's what I try to get them to see, Andy, and it's tricky.
All right. Here's 2 things I thought you made me think of. If I have a Rubik's Cube in each hand and I'm trying to fix it, and you're trying to tell me how to get white on one side, yellow and red. I got a friend named Chris. He can do 2 at the same time. Takes him about 15, 30 seconds. You've seen him do it, haven't you, Davies, in person? Yep. What's his name, Chris? Have you ever seen it? Everybody thinks it's Will Smith, but it's not Will Smith. It's the real live.
Chris Gardner.
Chris Gardner. Chris Gardner can do it. He's a movie called Pursuit of Happiness. And he got his first job because of how quick he could do a Rubik's Cube. No kidding. Yeah, and then he made millions. Not off Rubik's Cube, but out of stock. He became an advisor, is what he was. And his story is hilarious. You should read his books. You should watch the movie Pursuit of Happiness. The books are not like the movie Pursuit of Happiness. It's loosely based on his life. Everybody thinks it's his life, but it's not. But let's say I hand you the Rubik's Cube and I mix it up and I say, do it. And then you start doing it, you go, it's a trick. It won't work. And I go, no, here's what you do. And I take my time and take you through every single step. And then it works. Then I mix it up and I say, do it again. And you're like, shit. That's kind of like recruiting and getting people started. Would y'all agree with that?
Yep.
Davies, I mean, I've never heard it explained like that. But you want me tell you how to train a whale to jump out of the water, high over a burning rope, and back into the pool, and then get him back up and go over? It's more complicated than a Rubik's Cube, but I can teach you how to do it. And I can teach you how to fix a Rubik's Cube, okay? I'd rather teach you how to get people selling and successful and happy, okay? But I'm going to tell you the whale. The first thing you start with a whale is you put a rope on the bottom of the pool, and you put a snack over on this side in a cage, and as soon as he comes over there, you open up the cage and you let him get the snack. And then you have another one on the other side, and you let him go back and forth. And if he ever don't go back and forth, you just don't feed him until he gets hungry. Then he goes over and gets it. And then you pick the rope up and up. And if he ever goes under it, the cage don't open up. But if he goes over it, the cage opens up. And so basically, you get him trained to get the snack. And the snack is what? Your approval, your reward, your text, your encouragement, whatever it is to get them to do the same thing. You just got to understand, what is the rope on the bottom of the pool? How do we start? Y'all tracking on this? So here's some This is what to do. First of all, there is a great training program with this fat guy and greased back hair on a video. It's called, if you go on NAA University, you click on the ARC, go on the ARC. I'm going to go do this with you. If you go on the ARC, go on the ARC, go on your phone, people. And you go to NAA University. I guess that would it be resources? Resources. NAA University, Alliance University. And then you go on there and in the
class 243.
What's that?
It's class 243. Get started, goal set, and go serve.
Class 243. Watch that video and print out this piece of paper. And if you will think about these things when you're recruiting people. There you go. There you go. There's a couple more you can hand back to anybody else who hasn't seen it. If you think about these things, you're going to do GS3. You're going to go serve. That's the one that everybody wants to do. Goal set and get them started. Everybody wants to get them started, but they don't want to serve them. You know why you serve? It's because you care about them. And you care about people you like, and you serve the people you like. I think I just fixed it. This is my last one. I got to keep it. All right. So I'm not going to try to teach you those three things. I'm going to try to get you the mindset, but I need for you to transfer everything you're hearing from Jason and Davies today, to transfer it and try to start doing this. Okay. I'm serving Victoria when I teach her. When I text her, when I go, Patrick, what's been going on with my boy from New Jersey who lives in Columbia now half the time? You know, what's he doing? You know, what's the scoop on him? And you know, and what about that kid remember the kid that quit high school in the 10th grade? Who's following up with him? What's his name, Andy? Garrett. How's he doing? Well, text him and it's right now and say, Albright's talking about you. Are you watching? That's called serving him. It's called giving a crap. Okay? Davies, talk about that. Talk about how you exhibit love. How do you exhibit serve? What do you do? Sometimes it's tough love if you own to them, and sometimes it's recognition for just being alive.
Yeah, with the go serve part, I mean, that's when people struggle to get new people started. That's typically, to me, I think probably one of the most missed ingredients. Most people, people that struggle to get people started, they're kind of like the dad on the Ricky Bobby movie when he gets kicked out of the career day, and he's like, "See you." That's how people that can't get people started treat their new recruits, like contracted. See you when you go home. But you gotta go. Zoom says I like you. Getting on a plane says I love you. Spending time, being available, checking up on people, getting that eyeball to eyeball time. I mean, I think I'm a well over 1 million miles with Delta because of that reason. I mean, just going wherever we can. And in the beginning, people say, well, it's easy now, but in the beginning, I just bought whatever cheapest possible ticket I could find was, and whatever, hot wire room special I could find to just try and make it all work. How you operate now is how you operate then, but how you operate now really determines if you'll get to operate then. But yeah, going to see people, getting out there on the road, that's, vital piece to me.
What do you think, Jason? I'm sitting here looking at this go serve and going like.
Well, I'm trying to get Shelly Frisbee up to the event on the 21st and 22nd, Andy. She met Riddle last night in Tampa, and Riddle put his phone number on the board, and she was like the only one who did it and texted him. And I like that because, Riddle and Angela, class acts, right? Like Riddle is a charger. Angela's no joke. Like she was a $20,000 a month producer. You know, she looks pretty, but she can get out there and sling some insurance. And so they met this girl, Shelly Frisbee, last night. And Andy texted me. He's like, "This is our Alliance Alice." And I texted back, "I'm all over it." So, you know, I'm just like, what is the best thing for this girl to do? It's the next event, which is what we talk about in this GS3. She's going to get around people that it's going to just blow her mind what it's happened to me when I went up there to check you out to make sure you didn't dummy this website up. She's going to see it the way I saw it. And if she doesn't, guess what it's going to tell me, Andy? She don't got good eyes. Like if you get up to corporate and you just can't see what's been built, then I'm going to be like, okay, I only had to spend, I'm going to pay for her ticket too. Like, I'm just going to take a shot. Like, why not? What the hell? What do I care? So we're going to see if Shelly will get up there and go meet the team and get exposure to what has, you know, what's been built, this mecca that we have of insurance and all this other stuff that we do, and meet Christopher Norris and his team and Scott Garcia. Are you kidding me? You cannot meet Scott Garcia and be like, that dude is the Dumbledore of training and getting people in, or he's your Gandalf or whatever. Like, you can't not walk away from an interaction with Scott and not be like, that joker knows what he's doing.
So somebody on your team should be texting her and say, "Are you watching the show? Jason's talking about you. You should text Wes and the link."
I've been texting her.
If you got a minute, jump on his Zoom. Andy's teaching you as an example. You'll like this. It's cute. It's fun. You with me? It's serving it to get them going. You with me? It says on here, that's what serving is, getting them to participate in something. What do you mean? How am I serving them? Because you're going out of your way. You're thinking about them. All right, here's another serve. I really like you. You're a nice person. These are $20 books. You're going to need to buy some for your people. And I'm going to give you this one for free. I need for you to look at the front, look at the back, read the last page, read the second page, kind of get oriented with the book. And then I need for you to read a couple pages. And then check and see if they did. That's what I did with my children. That's what I'm going to do with my grandbaby girl. You know, I'm checking. You know, watch this. Hey, she got her passport yet? And Spencer said, "Yes, Daddy." And Mommy has already asked also. Meaning the grandparents are both making sure that they get in her passport before she needs her passport. Because we've all had agents get ready to go on a trip. And they get ready to go, and they go, "Do I need a passport?" And we go, "Yeah." They go, "Okay, well, how do you get it?" Like, you know, it's next week. You're not going. We've had agents miss trips because they didn't get their passport. And who do you blame? You always blame them. You never blame yourself because you're not a caring person. Caring person blames himself and says, "Damn it, I'm a pathetic manager. I didn't check and see." They don't go, "Got another idiot. Got another moron." You're the manager. You're the leader. Lead. Am I nailing this or what, Davies?
Yep. Absolutely. No one should ever fail because you didn't check in with them. You can check in with them and they can choose to fail. But if they fail at something because we didn't check in, that's a failure on our part.
Oh, I'm going to follow up on that passport. Last thing is I won't ever happen to my granddaughter not go somewhere because she didn't have a passport, right? So that's just a little thing. Why don't you get off of it? Why don't you pick something little and get on it? You know? You understand what I'm telling you is, like, people don't give out my book because they can't afford it. Okay? Did you at least send them the audio of it that's free? I didn't think of that. Like, you know, your head is right there. Right there. And all you're using it for is a hat rack. Is that, you tracking with me? But maybe they don't listen to these calls. Maybe they don't take them serious. Maybe they don't understand the pattern. Okay? How about this? Did you give them a new agent? By the way, these new agent guides are the bomb. I know Spencer wants a bunch of these to take, but y'all, these are the bomb. Okay? Okay, so watch this. There's the guy that runs the company and his wife and his kids. They're all in business. I would say that's one of the biggest endorsements I could do. The fact that his children are involved. It's what I say. Why don't you say it? I didn't think about it. Copy the God-blessed pattern. Does that make sense? Like, I always say, hey, one of the biggest endorsements, you could say one of the biggest endorsements I say about us is the owner, the guy that started it in his basement, has his kids involved. They graduate from college, they can do anything what they want, but he wants them doing this because it's the greatest thing. Okay, also, by the way, you can go on the ark. I don't know if I can do it quickly. You can go on the ark. Check this out. This is the new agent. Like, you can just scroll through page by page and walk them through the whole company. That's on the ark, on your phone for free. And you can forward that to somebody at a distance and walk them through the company. Now, this is not when you're selling them on the company. That's already done. This is the serving part. People use this to try to recruit. Dumb. You recruit them to you, then you serve by walking them through and educating them. You can walk them through the new agent. So you can text. I'm going to send this one to you, Anna and Jessica and Spencer. There's your copy. There's your digital copy. I didn't know it was on the website. Not been fishing around much, have you? It's a big website. It's a lot on there. Yeah, we make it impressive like that just to impress you. You know, it's like almost so much to use, people don't know to use it. Well, if you don't know to use it, imagine a brand new person coming on board and lost as a biddy in high weeds. That will be a little bitty chicken with grass this tall. It's set out in the middle of the field. Lost as a biddy in high weeds. You with me? These are all old man stuff that y'all need to learn and use. It really messes with young people. And if you're young and use it, my son uses reckon. He's older now, but when he was a kid, he'd use reckon all the time. Like at a restaurant, the woman would ask him, like, "You want some taters?" He's like, "I reckon." And then they'd walk away. He'd be like, because use that old man stuff for coming out of a young person's mouth, mess them up. They will. I reckon. Talk about some other. You got the new agent guide. Plugging them into the call. Davies, how do you make, like, text them, follow up, call them? Talk to me. First, give some people some stats. How all of a sudden your statistics have improved dramatically. And Jason, I know yours have too. Tell them your stats and how it's done tied in with serving.
Yeah, so as of today, we are 13 out of 13. The last 13 people we have gotten to make phone calls have all sold. One of the big things that has helped a lot.
But how many people is it you've recruited that hadn't got to make phone calls? Like 100 or 30
or 27, 20, so 27 to 13. So that's 14 that went MIA.
14 not make any phone calls. 13 have made phone calls, and now 13 have made sales. And then you got another batch coming along. Mm-hmm. How many?
I don't have that right now, but at the office, we got it all. Everything's visual at the office where we're keeping track of every single person until they tell us they don't want to be kept track of. We are keeping track of them, and we're providing structure. You know, one of the changes we made was going back, trying to reverse the curse of knowledge, right? The curse of knowledge is when you can sell, you know, wake me up at 3:00 in the morning and I can sell a policy in 20 minutes. But I've been doing it 22 years. If we teach through that lens, they're going to get overwhelmed and paralyzed. So reversing that and teaching from where was I 22 years ago? What did I need? What kind of structure did I need? What kind of training do I need? Because that can definitely hurt getting new people started. If we're talking through the lens of how we are now, because that's not where they're at. We've got to talk through the lens of where we were. And that takes constant discipline because it's like using phrases that we all use. New people don't know what they mean. We got to explain it. So same. Like, what did I need back then? And that's what we've been doing, is providing structure. This is, if you're going to be a part of this team, this is what we do. We dial between these hours and these hours. We do it on a dial jam. We set the appointments. We like having that structure like a job, because that's what most people need. I mean, we talked about Andy Riddle, Leventovich, that those people they would make it no matter what. But there's a whole group of people in the middle that we, some will never make it because they're arrogant, or they don't want to listen, or they're just ignorant, cynical, and some will make it no matter what. Kind of like leads, right? Some leads no one will sell. I couldn't sell them. Jason can't sell them. Nobody will sell them. And some leads, you could make fun of their kids and they'll still buy a policy from you. The middle six is where skill comes into play. And that's what we've been focusing on is, hey, the ones that don't want that, they're not a fit for us anyway. Let's make sure these middle six have the structure and the training they need to start getting success quickly. I've never made fun of people's kids during a sale, though. I wanted to, but I didn't. They were like, our kid's a genius. And I was like, you should meet other kids.
Oh, let me tell you. Can I tell you how I served my nephew, my son, my brother, and his kid, my nephew? I served them last night. They met us in the restaurant. We had some recruiters were training. Keep continuing on, and I want to save my mom. Let my mom, meet them so they would know where a lot of my crazy comes from. So I go over there, and this kid is doing what he's always doing, Robin. He is on his phone. This Alan's kid. And he's on his phone. And, he's got his grandma and his granddaddy right there, and my brother. And he's on his phone. So I go down and grab his phone. And then I'm wrestling him and giving him, scrubbing his head and just playing with him, kissing on him, telling him I love him, stuff. And then I came up with an idea. I gave him out a $100 bill, and I rubbed it in his face, and I put it in his hand, and I put it in his pocket. And I go, what would you buy with that? And he was like, I don't want to tell you. And I said, no, what would you buy with it? He started telling me something. It's a toy that's like a game toy. Like it's an animal that's on his video game. I don't know, like a wild angry bird or something. And he starts telling me what he would do with the $100 bill. And my brother's like, keep that $100 bill. Keep it. And I go, I want him to keep it. And I'm going to keep this. And he was like, and I was like, it's $100. All you got to do, you get paid $50 the first hour y'all here. Y'all probably going to be here 2 hours. You get $50 first hour. You're making $50 an hour. A lot of your friends don't make $50 an hour at their job. He's like, my friends don't have jobs. I was like, well, your friends, they don't live at home until they do. I'm just messing with him. You don't have to live at home. And I was like, all right, you can have this phone back if you bring me the $100 bill back. I'm going to be sitting right over here. Luis is at a different table. And I set it down. And he's like, this is my grandma's phone. And I was like, Deborah, I'm going to keep your phone if it's okay with you, because he gets $100 if I keep it for all of dinner. And that kid was running around, coming by, hitting me on the back of the head, and ducking down and talking to people. Had a blast. His grandma had a blast. And then when they were getting ready, they were leaving before we were, because Mama just getting warmed up with jokes. And he comes back over there and he goes like, "Can I get Grandma's phone?" I said, "Well, my $100 bill." He said, I waited that whole time. So I get the phone, and I mean, I don't know but it was effort, thinking, what can I do for this kid and my brother? And I got to give him a $100 bill. Like I always wanted. I mean, my mom used to do that when I was old. I'd be like, "You just give money away crazy like that," But I wanted to give him 100 anyway. But I thought this would be a good way to do it. It's the same pattern if you can figure out a way to do it for your agent. Like Victoria is thinking about playing another year of basketball. So I can connect her with Coach Albright. I can connect her with Wes Moore, the coach at NC State. That's effort to serve. What if she does that and then don't get in the business? I don't care. Like, it's not a big deal with me that she does it. It's a big deal that she's happy and successful. I think the best way she can be happy and successful is with us. But if she thinks waiting a year and playing more basketball, then I'm going to be with her. So when I hired Sean Boone, on the sideline at NC State, that's where we met. He wanted to play in the NFL. He still wants to play in the NFL. When he came to work with us, it was years of him still trying to get in the NFL. And I'm pulling for him. So can't he just build this business while he's trying to get in the NFL? You understand how hard it is to get in the NFL? He's working out. He's talking to people. He's trying. It's all he thinks about. It's just everything. But then one day he was like, you know what? I'm thinking that that NFL thing might have went by because of my age. And I was like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Your call. He's all right. I'm in. You follow what I'm saying? Like, I'm serving, hoping, praying, believing him, touching base until now. I don't do that with people that I don't think can make it. You the same way, Jason?
Absolutely. I love them. I'm nice to them. I spend the appropriate amount of time with them. I hope that our culture will get into them and they'll fire them up. But you got to guard your time wisely, dealing and nudging these people in the right direction.
Do you try to coach them in more than one thing, more than one way? Yeah.
When I was listening to Davey's talk, I was like, he was saying all this good stuff, and I was thinking, what I try to do is just master the BAM fam, book a meeting from a meeting. So whenever I'm talking to somebody and moving them along in the process, whatever speed they want to move at, if they're licensed or not licensed, whatever their goals are, I figure all that out, and then we're always booking the next meeting. So I'm just like, all right, like with Shelly Frisbee, like I called her on this call at like 9:50. I said, hey, jump on. Here's how you go to the ARC. You access the call. I said, I don't know what you said to Riddle, but he really likes you. And I'm like, get on this call. And I said, I got to jump on this call with Albright and Davies. And after the call, I'll give you a call. And during this call, talking about helping people, I texted her and said, hey, we'll pay for the $99 ticket if you can get up there and go to this Turn Trust into Wealth and expose yourself to that and see what the future can look like, another piece to your business of all thing that we do here at the Alliance. And so I've just really try to master the BAM fam, the book a meeting from a meeting, and that will tell you where they're at. Are they good at keeping appointments? Do they do a lot of no calls and no shows on you? Like, those people go down on the list real fast. I don't have time to sit here for an hour like Davies was saying and not have someone to talk to. It's not how we help people. Somebody has to show up for you to be able to help them.
There's a nuance there you did, Jason, that's powerful for new people. You gave her a reputation to live up to. Riddle thinks highly of you.
Yeah.
Patterns, people. Patterns. If you can learn how to say stuff like we say stuff, you'll fix that Rubik's Cube. But if you keep telling me it's the Rubik's Cube, you're never going to be able to learn how to fix the Rubik's Cube. If you think it's the Rubik's Cube's fault that the colors are all jumbled up and it ain't you ain't never, ever going to become a Rubik's Cube fixer. You started to say it about scratching your head. Which one you said? Maybe they start scratching their head. Who said that? Was that you, Davies?
I think it was Jason.
Jason, what do you mean by that? You said you basically they start thinking maybe it's them.
Hopefully, it'll dawn on them that they'll go to a meeting. They'll be like, oh my God, if that person's got 5 people here and I'm 15 times better than them, what is wrong with me? So I need to learn. It's not the Rubik's Cube. Someone didn't change the colors on the Rubik's Cube. I need to learn to work and manipulate the Rubik's Cube appropriately. So you've got to learn our system of getting people into it. So what I tell people, there's 3 things you got to do. This is what I've learned in this business. You've got to read books and listen to audio, and then you got to associate with the people who are doing what you want to do that are massively successful. And reading books and listening to audio is cheap. It's easy. It's super convenient. It's on to YouTube. It's on to Googler. You can get stuff on our NAA website. We've got AMP Studios that produces a ton of stuff. We've got our YouTube channel. Like, all of that, the glue The glue that holds the reading and the audio is the association. So we've got this massive event coming up in April called A View from the Edge. And I like, if you want to get rich, go to that event. Why? Because you're going to be taught how to sell applications, how to work your pendings. You're going to be taught that it's not the Rubik's Cube, it's you. And you're going to, Mark Aceta, Terry Edwards are going to teach you how to manipulate that. Megan Wood, are you kidding me? If you're going to get time with her, these people are going to say, hey, here's how I was screwing up the Rubik's Cube and found out this is how you manipulate the system to your benefit, to the kid. This is what the carrier, like, Andy, you know what I feel like, dude? I'm that dude that I'm the monkey in the box. That dude cranks that box like that, our song starts playing, and I jump out of the box and I got to show the plan. I got to forget that I'm mad at Olga, or she's mad at me, or the flowers that I got on order didn't come, or she didn't like the colors and that made me mad because she said that. And I'm like, I don't pick the colors, it's auto, or whatever it is, you know, or the dog peed on the floor. I got to put all that aside. And I've got to start hopping to my beat. I've got to sing my one-hit wonder song, Andy, and that's the show the plan song. That's the interview script. That's the get the people to this trust event. That's get them. The next event is what? Hey, guys, I got news for everybody. Today's Friday. The next event's the Wednesday call, or it could be your hotspot on Monday. So I've got to start beating the drum that got us famous, that everybody loves to listen to. Everybody loves this song. That song is your interview script, whatever it is, showing the plan, giving somebody an opportunity, GS3ing them. What are your goals? Set those goals, get them to the next event. So I just put on that avatar. Can you go get the door? And I just put on that avatar and go rock it out, dude. I got Lou's Kevin's here for Lou. He's listening to everything.
So this is my putting the rope on the lowest part of the pool and getting that whale to move. Okay, this is it. What's your name, sir?
Peter.
What is it?
Peter.
Peter. Peter. Okay. Like, there's so many patterns I see people never copy, like spelling the person's name out. They think that means nothing. They think because I can't hear that I have to do that, when in fact I did it when I was 27. There's nothing more special to a person than their name. Nothing. Like it's you go like Jessica, and it goes from a straight line to a curved line. It's just a couple of times. They can be talking and you could whistle, scream, cry for mercy, call 911, and they won't shut up. But if you say their name, sometimes you got to say it 2 or 3 times. You know what I mean? They go, Patrick. I think you said my name. What? And they stop on the phone because you learn how to say their name. So this is my putting the rope down. But you're not watching how I put on my flippers to come get on the bottom of the pool. All the things I do, the oxygen, check and make sure there's oxygen in the tank. Don't get down there and there's no oxygen in the tank. So there's things I'm doing, but this is me doing the rope thing. I wrote this book a long time ago, and that goofy looking is me. Don't look like me now, but it looked like me at one time apparently. And I'm going to give it to you for free. This cost us about $20, and a lot of people buy these, but I'm going to give it to you for free. So if are you interested a little bit in this business? Because you trust Robin and you like Robin, so therefore it must be something to it. You know she makes some money doing this, right? Okay. So if you'll look at some of this book, that'll prove to me that you're not just bullshitting me trying to make me feel good. As opposed to, I didn't give him a book. Why? Well, if I gave everybody a book I talked to, I'd be broke. Not if one of them started selling, you wouldn't be broke, right? Did you know that there's an audio that you can give away for free? There's also a tiny, tiny version you could get for 50 cents that you can hand out to the book. I didn't know it. I know you didn't know stuff, but hopefully now you're getting it. So like, Let me just hand this to you. Oh, tied down. Like, I'm serious. Nice to meet you. And this book. Thank you. You can check it out. And it's pretty elementary, but if you could read like 10 or 12 pages, my son has a goal to read. I say read minimum 15 minutes. He said it usually takes him more than 15, but it's 15 to read 10 pages and just go through the book. So if you have a new guy and you go, I'm so impressed with the person, this is the one I believe in, I think they're great. And I go, cool. And they go, tell me how you got started. And I go, you've been with you for 2 weeks? Yeah, they just got started, just 2 weeks. What's the first section in my book?
Personal use.
What is it?
Personal use.
What? No, it's not what's first in my book. Do you know what's the first subject matter in the book, Davies? Jason, do you know?
Get a policy, baby.
No. It's my story.
Oh.
It's my story. So I've met your new person who knows nothing about what I'm doing, but they're the one you think is going to do it. Here's what you say. I don't give them to everybody. But do you give them to people you believe in? So this is one you believe in, and you didn't give him a book. I just go like, I just don't know what to say. I go like, do you really want to get somebody started making money? Well, I don't think your book's magical. Me neither. I just want them to do something to start a pattern of going over. Swimming from this side of the pool to that side of the pool is nothing. But we got to get them one day to jump over the rope while it's on fire. So we got to start with something like, let's talk tomorrow at 10 a.m. And at 10, they pick up and say hello. You expected me? Yeah, you said 10, so here I am. Nice. Now they jumped over the rope. And then you go like, yeah, good job. I like your promptness. I like that you looked at the book. What I do with stuff, Peter, books, I've started this practice. Stupid rich guy told me this. He said, I date the book and I put my name in it. And that I can tell when I started reading it. And then if I ever reread it, I redate it. Okay? And then I always put my phone number in it. That way, if anybody finds it, they call me in my book. Nobody's ever called me, but I've been doing it for 34 years, I think, doing that. Just put my name, put the date. And when I say books, I'll tell sometimes I read this in 2016. I read this in 2004. And so you start them in a pattern of reading books. Because if the people don't grow inside, they're not going to grow outside. And I just hammer little stuff like this. I hope this call changes you and you start getting better results with people. We're in overtime, Jason, but real quick, tell them some of your stats. Davey said 13 people started to make dials and 13 have now made a sale, but they're on their ass. Can y'all go a little bit more? Jason, you got something?
Yeah, Andy, so from last year, May of last year, we're up 400% at getting people to get their agency profitable and writing a policy in it. You know, just getting better at the BAM fam, getting them through and getting them to events.
So BAM fam was one of your biggest changes.
It was one of my biggest, back to the basics. Yeah.
Book a meeting from a meeting. I talk to this guy every day. Okay, that's fine. Talk to him every day, that's fine. Somebody you don't talk to but once in a week, do you have a meeting set? Well, I know he's supposed to go to the meeting on Monday night. Good. But you should have something booked every time for him. And you should be checked and make sure he does everything he's supposed to do. With the ones you like, the ones you think can do it, the ones you can believe it. Because you're going to come back to me and tell me you ain't got time to do it. Because you don't have time to do it if you try to do it for everyone. But if you start picking this one and treating this one special, that one will spill special, and then that one will get successful. Congratulations, Jason. Did you start scratching your head thinking maybe it's me that I'm hiring all these people and they're not getting started? And then you started reviewing what you're doing yourself?
I absolutely 100%. I had a conversation with you in May the 17th or something. We looked at some data and I'm like, all right, this got to change. And we looked at it and it was funny because you said, what are you doing? You know, and basically what you're asking me is, what are you doing to have such horrible results? And I started to tell you, and you said, stop. I tell you what, here's the fix. I got Noelle Leventovich. I got her doing some training. Jump on that call and do what she does. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And that's what we've been doing. And we've been going up, dude. You know, we like over at 9 months later or whatever it is, we're 400% better. And we're still getting better. We're tracking the data.
So in the beginning, I'm trying to get him to read 3 pages. I'm trying to get him to meet me tomorrow at 10. Later on, I do things like, what in the hell is going on with your statistics, Jason? God bless America. I'm looking at how many people you hired. Ain't nobody getting going. And Noelle hiring got twice as many results as you. What the fuck? I love you. You're smart. You're intelligent. You're one of my most creative. You search things. You check background. You dig into the internet. You ask a million questions. Why are you not asking questions about this? In other words, I started out with the rope, but I got to, the rope trick don't work. You got to move up to take the rope out of the water and get the well going over. And then if the well all of a sudden starts going under, you quit feeding him. You lower the rope, you start the process over again, and you bring it. But it's a different process than right on the bottom. You're moving it up higher. So it's more of a challenge. Me and Davies are talking. All right, Davies, wrap us up. Take us home. We're in overtime. I think we've done something.
Making it big here is just a chosen set of behaviors. So
what?
It's a chosen set of behaviors, meaning I'm going to choose to behave in these ways to become successful. And that's getting people started. It's people starting. It's finding the patterns and the behaviors and just choosing those things. That is what makes the difference. I love the Rubik's Cube illustration. You get mad at the Rubik's Cube, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't work. You just haven't followed the right pattern yet. And so that's where my mind is at, you know, like, what are the patterns? How do I get it to the next level of getting new people growing even faster?
All right. Last one. Come up here, Spencer. This is Spencer Albright. I brought him into the world. I can take him out.
I told Ada that the other day.
You hear what he said? What'd you say?
I told Ada that the other day.
Oh, I got something good. The girl saw this. I started correcting my 88-year-old mama's jokes. I was like, Mama, you didn't tell it right. Here's the way you tell it. And she did something else. And I go, wait a minute, you didn't say this part. And then I looked down there at my son, and I remember dinner. This was Thursday night. Well, I remember dinner Wednesday night, and I was trying to do the Rubik's Cube, the Chinese numbers, and Ding Dong was correcting me, embarrassing me, correcting me, and making himself look like a dum-dum by correcting me. So what I did is I started correcting my mama at 88, making myself look like a dum-dum. These are patterns that have been duplicated in that part where I said I brought him in this world, I'd take him out. He already told my granddaughter that. But tell him about yesterday and, you know, getting the gas.
Oh, yeah. So, yesterday I went to get gas, so I wouldn't have to do it on my way back to Raleigh. And as I was getting back into my truck, this lady that I had no clue who it was pulled up and said, "Are you an Albright?" And I was like, "Yes." And then she stopped and got out of the truck, or got out of her car, and came up and said, "You know, I know your dad. As soon as I saw you, I knew you were an Albright." And she said, "You know, I've been around with y'all. You know, I do insurance too. I'm licensed." And I was like, "Cool. Well, I work over at the office. Y'all should come out sometime." And she said, "I've got another guy that might want to get into it." And I said, "Well, I'll be there tomorrow, so bring him on out." And they're sitting over here.
Take another step, because she said she's going to bring you at 11, remember?
Yeah.
So tell them how you thought that through.
Oh, well, yeah. She texted me, I think it was last night, and said, "We'll be there at 11. And then this morning when I was like, "Is the activity call here at the office today?" I'm going to text her, see if she can come at 10 instead. So he, I think, worked third shift, so they did make it, you know, for the last few minutes of this, but it's good.
But it's a last minute effort. It's that last second move. It's like that football player that when he gets hit, he rolls and tries to fall forward as opposed to knocking and going over. It's that inch. It's that 1 yard. It's that one difference. And that's what the pros scouts pick up on. They go like, I saw that. So when you're watching your agents in the beginning, you're like a pro scout. Because if you draft the wrong people and give them all you got, you look like a moron. You with me? But if you draft the right people and they turn into a superstar, you'll be like, I recruited her. That's right. So it's little things. So and then when you see your son do a little thing like that, you go like, oh, he's a pro. He's a future all-star, right? Because you're just looking for that. And he asked me, he's like, Robin, I said, she's crazy. She's so much fun. You'll love her. Get her in. And so he's like, I'm on it. And I actually thought when he said 11, I was like, I wanted to say it, but I just went like this right here, 11. And he was like, I should try to get her 10. I was like, yeah. So, I hope y'all got picked up on some stuff. This is important to give to people, whether you text it to them or whether you hand them one. I like handing them one if I'm there. I like giving them a book as opposed to audio. By the way, we're working on a digital version of the book also that we don't have. Because if you could give out a free digital, I'd be fine with you doing that. I'm not trying to, it ain't the dollar on the book we're trying to make. It's getting people, and it really is not so much the book and what's in there. But yes, personal use is the first thing. So I would go to people, to new agents, or new staff and go, or especially if they get their license, like, have you got your policy yet? Because that's number one in the book. And if you can't do number one, it's damn sure you're going to be hard to get to number two. But Bam Fam is the start of that, Jason. Congratulations on your numbers, improvements. Davies, yours are dramatic improvements. And hopefully all of us grow from it. And let's just talk about that day we heard that talk. All right. Thank y'all so much. March 21st and 22nd, we have a massive seminar. We had over 100 people. I think it was pushing 138 on the call yesterday. We did 2 hours of just slam-packed training. Everybody was so jacked up, excited. And then some people, I asked one guy, he sent me something. I said, you coming to the office this month? He's like, yeah, you mean March or you mean April? I said, this month. And he said, any particular day? I was like, the 21st, 22nd would be good. And he's like, oh, let me look into those dates. And I'm going, this was yesterday afternoon. I'm thinking, my Lord, how has he not been told about this opportunity? Robin, wait until you see this seminar system we got. It is pure money. And we can't do it in Spanish, but tell them, try to express how excited Mercedes is about these Spanish IU leads. Meche.
Oh, she is just over the moon, and she's killing it on these Spanish IUL leads. I know Olga is too. Her first week, over 20,000 target premium written on these IUL leads. It's insane. Think about all the doors that have just opened for us with the seminar system, with the IUL leads on top of what we already had. I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, Mercedes is killing it. It's fun to watch her numbers and feel her excitement.
Jason, tell them about Olga and the Spanish leads.
Yeah, her and Mercedes are crushing it. They work together on this stuff and cheering each other on. But I think yesterday she was telling me $17,000 on these IUL Spanish leads that they're doing, and she loves it, Andy. I mean, she went to Chicago to do the company overview and the training, the hot spot up there, and she was on the phone selling policies up there because she didn't have to go to the person's house, so she's free. So she's up there doing that and helping the agents up there and helping families get covered in the Spanish community with these IULs. She loves it.
So did she already recruit one of those leads too?
Yeah, so she talked to this Spanish lady, and the lady's a single mom, got a great kid, and she's like, oh my God, I gave you everything over the phone, my social, my banking information. What is wrong with me? I don't know if you're legit. And Olga's like, come to my office. We work out of our house and come and meet me and my husband. And so she comes over, and of course she comes over here. She's like, these people are legit. And she gets signed up into class, and she's another little Olga.
These are $6 leads for IUL leads. And the first week, Olga Mathis wrote 17,000 and signed up an agent. The first week of doing it. And then Mercedes, what's Mercedes' last name? I always just Mercedes and Gus. Huh? Pena. Mercedes Pena wrote 22,000 first week. Osuna, I'm not sure. Osuna or Joanna, y'all text me how much he wrote. But it's not as good at English because the competition. But right now, in Spanish, by the way, I always tell people, when you find something like this, get on it and make money fast because it ain't going to last. Nothing ever lasts. Like you go, I hope it lasts forever. Me too. I wish mortgage protection leads were still $15, but they're $100. Right? The Spanish leads are now, they got them for $6, around $6. How much has Osuna sold so far? They might have jumped off. Okay, I know it's over 10 grand, but if you're spending $500 a week and making 10 grand a week, it's not a bad program. Spending $500 and they're not quite spending $500 for these $6 leads. But if they were spending $500, spending less than that, but if they were spending $500 and making $22,000 a week, wouldn't be a bad program. So if you have Spanish people that can sell, they can close. This is a great program. Seminar people that are upper level that know how to do annuities and IULs and big money, we can put people with money right in front of you. Never seen anything like this. Sitting there for $100 a piece. Roughly $100 to have a person sitting there that's worth $1 million in front of you. Anyway, that is March 21 and 22. Appreciate you. That's so good, Jason and Davies. Keep it up. And by the way, let's try to get one person to copy your improvement. One person to copy get Jeremico to copy your improvement, Davies. Get somebody else to copy that improvement. By the way, Robbie taught somebody really sharp in your hierarchy. All right, out. Love y'all. Wrap it up.